just kick off by introducing myself. I'm the sales director here at Fujifilm Microchannel. I'm joined with Nigel, who will be presenting the real meat of today's presentation, getting into the Dynamics 365 all-in-one CRM. Just a few quick housekeeping things. We are recording the session. We obviously send this recording to you afterwards. And also, please feel free to use the Q&A chat to throw some questions, and we can answer those questions throughout the webinar or afterwards if we don't get to it. So please feel free to do that. But otherwise, look, let's get straight into it. Before we get into what Microsoft is doing around an all-in-one customer relationship management system or customer engagement, I thought it was important just to highlight a PricewaterhouseCoopers survey that was done recently that highlighted that 86% of CEOs consider digital as their #1 priority. And the reason for that was mainly around the customer. That customer experience will eclipse product and price, that digital services technology is transforming that customer engagement. Customer engagement is an ongoing commitment. The first three things were all around the customer and how digital can change that. The fourth one, interestingly, was employees, how important your employees are. And that is definitely a big focus of what we're going to be presenting today around Microsoft Dynamics' CRM. And that obviously makes sense. Today, we have more than 5 billion people, active users, 1 billion social media users, a whole billions of connected devices. So it makes sense in today's world that the way that we're engaging, the way that businesses are engaging with their customer has changed. And Microsoft Dynamics 365 is Microsoft's core foundation of addressing that change and of addressing the customer, the core of any business. Now, please note just a quick history lesson here. This system, Dynamics 365 CRM, was just called Dynamics CRM a few years ago. But so much functionality has now been put into it. It is now really a suite of CRM functional modules, but all built on the one platform. So we're going to be presenting, and particularly Nigel will be presenting today, the core aspects of that: sales, customer service, field service, marketing. But there is so much more around that Microsoft is consistently releasing more and more, really to market demands and what technology is allowing Microsoft to do. But please note, it is one suite of modules sitting on the one platform. But note, it's more than just one platform. It is the one database. And the core part of the system, the customer, we'll call it customer for a moment, but I'll challenge that in a second. But all the accounts, all the contacts, all the leads throughout all the functionality that Microsoft is delivering is the same. So it's just about how you're engaging with that core record in your system that Microsoft is providing there. So that's what Microsoft Dynamics 365 is. But more interestingly is that all the functionality that Nigel is going to be presenting today is built by Microsoft with the Power Platform. And as a quick introduction to it, Power Platform are the tools you're seeing there, Power Apps, Power Pages, that enable not only Microsoft to provide the functionality, but these same tools are provided to us as partners and you as customers to do things that very quickly do things, configure things that might not be there as standard that Microsoft delivers. So Microsoft is giving their whole platform so we can configure not only the functionality that Nigel's going to be presenting today, but also any uniquenesses very quickly of your business that need to be addressed so it can address what's core in your organization, right? The customer. Now, it is more than just the Dynamics 365 functionality that Microsoft delivers, as I just mentioned before there, as well as the field service, customer insights, which Nigel will explain is the marketing automation functionality of Dynamics 365, sales and projects. They're the core aspects that Nigel will present today. And obviously those aspects of it that enable you to very quickly, with flexibility, agility, create even new functionality. But it is really Microsoft delivering that whole platform. So it's not only the functionality that we're speaking about, it's also about how it interacts with Teams, for example, how you communicate internally and externally. Outlook, again, how your teams are using the other aspects of Microsoft's productivity and collaboration suite. So although we're going to be focusing on the Dynamics 365 core functionality, it's also about how Microsoft provides that end-to-end platform to get the greatest productivity and impact from the systems that you're using. This has been made possible in the last 6-7 years because of the cloud, and Microsoft's private cloud's called Microsoft Azure. It provides that global infrastructure that's always close to where you are. So there are data centers around the world. There's more than 160 data centers around the world, four in Australia, and New Zealand's opening up later this year. But that provides the performance, provides your sandboxes, it provides your security, privacy, and compliance. But it enables this platform to all work together. As Microsoft, more than 20 years now when they got involved in business applications, that's been the vision, and the cloud has enabled that to occur. And in the last few years, the cloud has enabled more than just when we're just talking about customer. And you'll notice there, I've changed the C to an X. So instead of being customer relationship management, please note, if in your organization there are things as important or near as important as the customer, and that might be constituents, it might be your vendors, it might be contracts, legal matters, whatever that X is, whatever that you need to maintain that relationship in your organization, it's just not about the customer as we think today. So you might have some uniquenesses in your organization, but this whole platform enables those relationships in your businesses to be managed. So although, yes, we call it CRM and we call it customer engagement, please note we sometimes think of it as XRM, where X is whatever's important in your organization. So that is an important thing to touch on. We will obviously talk a lot about customer in this webinar because most times customer is the important thing, but sometimes in government, sometimes in legal and services, it is a different thing. And so that's been, I guess, the core vision for a while. Then what the cloud has enabled more and more, and we've been talking about AI for probably 3 or 4 years. Now, it's only been the last 12 months where I've really seen artificial intelligence and Microsoft's assistant using AI, Microsoft Copilot, being used with great effect inside our customers' organizations. And I think it's just important just to let people understand that the benefits of Copilot and what Microsoft is doing is really a journey, right? And what we're seeing at the moment are more of the lower impact aspects of what Copilot can do, but even more and more today, we're seeing some of the larger ones. So just taking a quick look at this. At the moment, inside Dynamics 365, you're seeing a lot of that guiding whereby you can ask AI, how do I do this? How do I fix this? What do I need to do? And again, that's inside these applications, and I'll show a video shortly of showing some of this. But more and more, AI and Copilot is able to do more empowering things. So instead of just how do I do this, actually finding data. We're now seeing a lot of content being generated, emails being done. So 80% of your emails being done automatically by Copilot, meeting notes being done by Copilot, next steps being done by Copilot, and you doing the 20. So that 80-20 rule, instead of being you doing the 80 or the 100%, Copilot is empowering users to be more productive. But not only being more productive, ensuring the best actions are being done. In the case of marketing, in the case of customer engagement, okay, we've engaged with this customer one way, or we've engaged with this group of customers one way and we got these responses. But what about we try something else? And then, doing tests, working out what the next best action is. So learning from actions, learning from history to provide the best action. So more and more, we're seeing not only that guiding, empowering, but hey, this is the next best thing that you should do, and AI and Copilot providing that. And we're even getting to some aspects, and more, this is a journey. So Copilot, as we've seen, our customers have been using it now for coming up to a year. But more and more, it's going to get to this endpoint where Copilot will take actions based upon that history. So automating things, making sure things are happening as we want without that human input. So again, it's really quite an exciting part where I was a little bit of a skeptic myself a few years ago, but now seeing how our customers are using it, seeing it come into Dynamics 365 has been a wonderful part of what we do here at Microchannel. And I'm about to pass over to Nigel, but before I do, I'm just going to play a video that just gives a good overview of not only what we're talking about in the sense of having a platform that unifies your engagement with what's important, with your customer or with your constituent or with your members or with your contracts, something that is united to that, but also showing you how Copilot can help with that. So I'll play this video. I think the sound's going to be good, and please excuse if sometimes the sound doesn't keep up, but Here we go.
Customers today expect truly personalized, connected experiences across any channel. However, organizations can't deliver these connected customer journeys due to siloed systems across sales, marketing, and customer service. This results in the customer receiving misaligned messages from various teams, leading to frustration and dissatisfaction. Microsoft Copilot breaks down those silos with next-generation AI, helping your sales, marketing, and service teams know your customer and deliver a contextualized experience at every touchpoint. With Dynamics 365's customer experience solutions, you can acquire more customers, close more deals, and resolve issues faster. Your data analysts can find new insights in your customer data using Copilot, and your marketers can easily segment target audiences, generate personalized content, and build a tailored customer journey. Your sales team can improve customer engagement and build trust using Copilot to generate a meeting preparation guide containing relevant customer data points. Sellers can also reduce time spent on manual tasks with generated, personalized email responses right in the flow of work. Your customer service teams can easily address customer issues with Copilot, allowing them to resolve cases faster than before. Each interaction is fed back into the customer profile, keeping everyone on your team on the same page. Microsoft Copilot provides every customer-facing employee in-the-moment actionable insights, boosts their productivity and effectiveness, and empowers them to create personalized customer experiences together.
And look, I hope that's obviously a good example of Copilot and AI working, but AI Copilot, your team, your employees, your customer service teams, your marketing teams, your sales teams can't work with that efficiency, with the impact they want, unless all the data is unified, unless everything about what's important to your business isn't siloed and it's all on that one platform. So with that, I'd love to introduce Nigel to take over and go through these foundational aspects of Microsoft's modern customer experience platform. Thank you, Nigel.
Thank you, Adair. Welcome everybody. And just to reintroduce myself, I'm Nigel Bradley, the practice manager for our CRM practice here at Microchannel. We're going to have a quick look at how this actually plays out in a real world scenario, as Adair's actually spoken about, and show you some examples of that. But let's really take a look firstly, and just revisit that area that Adair was talking about. We have a very similar slide on the screen that talks about the Dynamics apps. Now, these in the middle of the screen, you'll see those Dynamics 365 apps. They're the first party apps that Microsoft developed. But you'll see, as we've talked about, there's that Power Platform that allows us to configure to build things on top of those applications or to start again from scratch. Many organizations don't use those out-of-the-box applications. They sometimes start from scratch with the Dataverse and build their own application platform. But there are a vast majority of organizations that start with one of these applications or both or multiple and develop an application that is unique to their organization. The key thing with what you'll see on the screen there on the left-hand side is around that integration or that native integration with the rest of the Microsoft platform. So some of you may say, right, well, we don't use Dynamics in our organization. We know of Dynamics from an ERP perspective. We don't use that. But you may probably be using some of the Microsoft 365 apps. So you may be using Outlook and obviously some of those productivity suites that are available or have SharePoint. So there is native integration with all of those components. But as I just mentioned, you may have a different ERP altogether. And one of the key things that we want you to take away from today is don't be scared of looking at Dynamics as a CRM, because there are many ways that we can actually integrate very easily and most commonly out of the box into other ERPs, whether that be SAP, whether that be one of the Microsoft ones, or whether that be a Sage component. Whatever ERP that we might be looking at, we can use things like customer insights, and we'll talk about this in a little bit more detail in a moment. One of the aspects of customer insights is around a CDP, or a data platform, a warehousing tool that we can easily connect to other applications, the third-party applications, marketing applications, social media, e-commerce platforms, and bring all of that information in to make that rich data composite that we can use throughout Dynamics as well. One of the other ways that we can do that is use one of the Power Platform tools called Power Automate, which is really a workflow and integration tool to bring in those information. We'll talk, and I'll show you some examples of how we can do that in a little bit later on. So very easy tools that are part of the Microsoft stack that sit either within or next to as part of the Power Platform and Dynamics that we can use to integrate ERPs and other systems together. I wanted to very quickly start by just honing in on some of the first-party D365 customer experience apps. Most people say, right, well, this is a CRM suite. Yes, it is a CRM suite, but it's so much more than that. Many people think, when they think of CRM, they think of that first column there of a sales tool. So we've got that lead and account management and the rich information that we can start to do from an account management perspective, and pipeline management. So there's that sales application that is the first party app from Microsoft is real. I suppose the foundational app that most people use within the Dynamics customer engagement suite. But then you can start to expand on that, or you can use one of these other ones in isolation as well. There's no, it's a very mix and match sort of application component, because it's all sitting on that one platform, that one configuration platform that we can actually then develop on. So if you're focused on customer service or field service, customer service being, as an example, a call center or a support center, supporting your customers and having that, you can do that from an omni-channel perspective within D365. If you're a field service organization with people out in vans servicing organizations and machinery, you can do that out of D365. We've got the customer insights, which we'll talk about in a moment. It's very, very strong and powerful tool. It's really around that data management and marketing automation. And there's also a tool in there for project operations as well, for managing projects, just like you would in MS Project. They're the full suite of out-of-the-box applications that Microsoft deliver. But that's not to indicate that we can't actually extend those, as we talked about, take the configuration. Many customers use these and create their own apps and use these as a leveraging point to build something totally unique for themselves. Now, when we say build, we're not talking about develop. We're not talking about, a year and a half of development and code and a whole range of things. This is all low code. This is all stuff that can be built by the partner and maintained very easily by the organization. So we're not talking about a massive investment or capital investment into a customized, let's put ourselves in a corner sort of solution. This is a solution that can be managed internally. This is a solution that is then upgraded by Microsoft through its release planning. So there's a range of things that make this a beneficial system. So let's just have a quick look at and I've mentioned sales, customer service, field service, and customer insights, which are the applications that are really those horizontal applications, those first-party applications that Microsoft built. But we need to really focus on industry because most of our customers, including yourselves, fit into or work within some type of industry. How does that work within an industry? And we, as you can see, some examples of some of the industries that we work within and have some industry-specific information and knowledge around. and we start to tailor the applications towards that industry. How does a customer service application work for a travel industry? How does a field service work for some type of wealth organization? We start to get these combinations of how do we use the applications for an industry? And then that becomes a case of, well, what is your industry? What are your data that you need to capture? What are your processes? And how is communication actually done within your organization and to your customers? So they're the sort of things that we go through as a Microsoft partner and as a customer, as a vendor of yours, to start to look with your organization to start to build that industry information into a CRM for you. Well, let's just focus on a couple of the first party apps. Dynamics 365 sales app. Out of the box, it has a range of sales tools, which you would expect from any good CRM. And we're not saying that other CRMs can't do these jobs, but this is the basis. This is the foundation of any good CRM. Lead management, contact management, your opportunity pipelining, quotes and orders, some case management potentially, but really tracking down that account management and the interactions that you might have with your salespeople and your customers. The key thing that we've got with D365 sales is around that third column there in terms of Microsoft 365 integration, dashboarding, building in Power BI dashboards, and the whole sales AI of what we've talked about with Copilot as well. So there's a range of functionality in there that can meet everybody's needs from a sales perspective. There's some question marks down the bottom. Well, what does that mean for your business? Do you store extra pieces of information? Do you have different processes? Do you store a whole range of products against your customers and what products they actually are at? They're the sort of things that we can then extend that application to meet your needs. And you'll see some examples of that as we go through today. Customer service, another one that we just wanted to touch on, same sort of thing. We've got that account management in there. We've got that case management, queues. So you imagine an organization that works in the support industry and they're supporting an application or they're supporting a manufacturing or they're supporting a piece of machinery. You'd want to be going out there and having that customer service representation and having those support analysts bringing things at resolving particular cases, etc. That's what this actually does. So there's a lot of good features in there around SLAs, entitlements for tickets, etc. Knowledge bank, which is fantastic in D365, as well as then you've got some great things as we talked about before, which is standard in most of these applications, is around the M365 integration, Teams collaboration, and even to the point of having chat, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. But once again, question marks down the bottom. What does that mean for your organization? Yes, we do support for some products that we actually have, but we do it in a different way. And can you support that? Yes, we would be able to. One of the exciting new areas that Microsoft have actually moved to or extended the customer experience applications into is around what we call customer insights. It actually started as a marketing application tool. And from a marketing application or what we used to call Dynamics 365 marketing, you'll see that side of things on the right-hand side. Some functionality that is really rich, email marketing, customer journeys, which we'll talk about in a moment, triggers, web forms, social posting, event management, and being able to create segmentation of our data, which is really beneficial to how we actually market. We'll talk about this in a little bit more in a moment, but traditionally what people actually think around marketing automation is, right, well, let's just get all of our customers and send a newsletter out every month, or let's blast them with a weekly offers email. Marketing has come a long way since then, and we'll start to have a look at how that actually will impact. But that can be part of it, but there is so much more to it than that. On the left-hand side, you'll also see around data, which is the customer CDP, the customer data platform. And if you've had experience with that, Microsoft have offered this as part of the suite, where we're creating a warehouse of data. So if you've got an ERP, if you've got a loyalty system, if you've got some other type of system that's storing information, you can bring that in to the CDP or Dynamics 365 Customer Insights and have that in a warehouse environment that we can then create segments that we can build journeys off. As an example, which we'll look at in a moment, we might have a loyalty system that's attached as part of our organization. We can bring that information in, marry that up with the contacts that are in our CRM, and then say, right, well, let's send out an offer to all of the people who are have loyalty for a particular reason. We can do all of those things through bringing that information into the CDP and merging that with the contact and information within the CRM. Great tools in there to be able to use. And you can see that we're now starting to head away from that traditional CRM of just an account management tool or a sales tool. Let's continue on with that thought around customer insights. There is a real move away from that traditional outbound marketing of let's just send an email out, let's just send out a newsletter blast, to what we call real-time marketing. And they're really, and you can see they're customer trigger initiated. So we're starting to say, right, what are the trigger points that we actually want to engage with our customers? Is that when they buy something? Is that when they, is it 6 months down the track? Is it part of the service that we actually offer? What is the trigger point? They may have filled something in on the website. What is the trigger that we actually want to build a continuous contact with our particular customers rather than blasting thousands of people? Let's target those and make it more personalized. So that's what this application is really geared around, is around that real-time marketing, building out what we call journeys, and targeting sales for a particular reason. I've got some scenarios here or some samples here just in terms of that. So looking at on the left-hand side in terms of the first-party apps for a sales, customer service, field service. In sales, we might be when a new lead comes in, we might want to communicate with them. When we sign up a new customer, we might want to have a welcome email or a welcome SMS, and then some follow-up in the weeks past that. We could say, right, well, let's suggest some purchases. They've purchased this product. That means they might want to be able to buy another product. So we can start to then look at what are those trigger points there. Customer service, case status updates, chat communication. In terms of field service, we can start to look at work orders and their status. We can start to look at resolution surveys and reminders as well. But then from an industry perspective, in this customer insights, we can now start to look, okay, this might be a little bit more relevant to you. From a membership perspective, let's bring in a new member and let's follow up on their membership status. They might have renewals, so we might trigger renewal communication, as well as membership offers. From a travel perspective, looking at bookings, suggested purchases, travel surveys and feedback. All of that can be done within the Customer Insights platform. It's a very handy little tool for any organization. You don't need to have a marketing team. You don't need to have, I suppose, a marketing strategy. Anybody who has a process where they need to engage with their customers, probably more than what you are doing, and to supplement an account management tool, this is the tool for you. So you can see on the screen there's a visual of a customer journey. You can start to see how we can put some triggers in there and branch that out. And one of the things that you can see, you might be able to see in that screenshot there, is the right-hand branch of that is around optimizing channels as well. So we might send email after email after email to person A, but we might send them an SMS and they open the SMS but not the email. We now know that we can target them through SMS rather than email. So we can put some decision points in that journey to say, right, well, for that particular person, choose the best channel to actually communicate to them. All those rich features are part of that particular application. Another exciting part of the D365 customer experience, or the Power Platform component, is around Copilot Studio. This is obviously bringing in some of the newer features of Microsoft's and a lot of the AI capability. And this tool is really geared around, I suppose, chats. And we used to be able to have chatbots, but this is much richer than what it used to be, bringing in the Copilot component. What do you mean by that, Nigel? Okay, imagine I've got a chat on my website, or internally I might have it on my intranet, and I might be able to say, right, I'm going to offer that my staff could engage with that chatbot and be able to ask a question like, what does the travel policy say around booking X type of travel? Or how much leave do I actually have? Those types of things can be hooked up to a chatbot now that can then go to things like your SharePoint, your website, into Teams, and all securely bring back relevant information for A, your customers, and B, your staff as well. So all of those rich chat AI functionality can be now developed very, very easily in a low-code environment, no coding, to be able to deliver to your internal staff as well as to your customers as well. Great little tool, great thing to, if you have people who struggle to find things on the website, you could have a chatbot that actually surfaces on the chatbot, are you looking for anything in particular? And they could write in, I'm looking for a particular product, bang, and it can surface that piece of information, scan the website, surface that information for the person, and save them the ease of navigating around. All of those things are part of Copilot Studio nowadays. Here's an example of what we've done with Copilot Studio recently for a customer. Just a very simple example. You can see on the right-hand side, that is D365 and a screen of D365 with an overlay of what we call a communication panel. This is where somebody, and this is the scenario, somebody has gone onto Facebook and looked at our Facebook page and wanted to message us. We've injected Copilot Studio into Messenger, into the actual Facebook Messenger. And so now if I'm in that chat, I'm engaging with Copilot Studio bot. And I can ask it questions. And at the end of that, I could potentially say, well, can I go and speak with an agent? And that's when we can then start to hand that off to D365. And you can see that an agent on the right-hand side has an open communication panel. They've already engaged with the chatbot and Copilot Studio for suggestions, and it's now handed them off to an agent. All of that end-to-end AI, agent, customer service, omni-channel is all part of the application now in a very low code, easy to set up scenario. So what does this look like in CRM? I suppose I want to show you some screens of CRM, of D365, and particularly the sales side of things. But I've tried to bring in as much as I can to give you that 360-degree, that all-in-one CRM scenario. But we're going to focus and we're going to start to look at this really from a customer level. So I'm going to bring up a customer screen in D365, and we're going to really navigate around it to show you some of these things that we've talked about over the last little while. So here's a screen that shows an account, and we call them an account in CRM. It could be a customer for you, it could be a client, but it's really that person that we engage with as part of our business or our organization. And you can see that there's a lot to this particular screen, and there's some really good standard stuff. So, out of the box, like any good CRM, you're able to grab some of that information about the customer. Where are they? Who are they? What are their phone numbers? All of those great things. But this is where we start to, I suppose, merge away from that into some of the AI and some of the Microsoft components of how we can actually extend this out. Straight away, you can see in the middle, in the red box, there's a little blue icon, which is Copilot. And it's now started, Copilot's actually scanned, as I've opened up the account record, it's scanned the record, and it's now started to bring back some information around this. So it's now giving me a summary of that particular account on the screen. You can also see down in the bottom right-hand corner an assistant that's now starting to tell me through an AI-generated component things that are coming up, things that I've missed, etc., and starting to give you that really good, rich information to your salespeople. You can also see in the middle of the screen what we call a timeline. This is really around every interaction that we actually have with that customer. Emails, phones, notes that we take, appointments that we actually have, when they've responded to a survey, have they registered for an event. We can start to see a timeline now of every interaction that we actually have with that particular customer. Great little tool. Start to see, or for your stakeholders, for your salespeople, for your management to go into it and see all of those interactions in one particular place. On the right-hand side, I've put a billing screen over here. This is now connected to my ERP, my finance system. So I can now start to see what currency are we billing them in? What's their credit limit? All of that rich information that we've got in our ERP, bringing that into CRM for our salespeople to have that so they don't have to log into the ERP. And therefore, if they're out on the road, and yes, there is a mobile application that comes with this, they've got that visibility. So they can say, right, well, you've got an overdue balance of 78K. Can we take care of that, please? So we can start to have those rich conversations that that salespeople love to have, rather than just, well, I'll have to get back to you once I find that information out. We can bring all of that information in and give the salespeople those rich pieces of information. One of the key things that I wanted to drive home today is around the 360-degree view, that all-in-one CRM. So rather than us saying, right, well, it's just a sales tool, it's now become so much more than that. It's really become an operational tool for all operations. Maybe not for finance, but we've still got our finance components that we're going to show you. But it's really become an all-in-one operational tool for your organization. So you can see up the top there, we've got some tabs that we're going to dive into a little bit. So we can start to dive in. I'll just move my mouse and we can go into the contacts. So, excuse me, I can now start to, from an account management perspective, I've got visibility, all good CRM functionalities. I can see my opportunities. So very easily, the salespeople can now start to see all of their opportunities, and we can order and view these in different ways. If I'm a service agent, or if I'm a support person, I can now start to see all of their tickets. They might have some service tickets. They might have some concerns or some queries that have come into our support team. All of those are now visible in a 360-degree view. If I'm dealing with a field service organisation, or I am a field service organisation, I might want to see a list of all of the work orders that we've actually got outstanding. They might have a maintenance of a piece of machinery that needs to be maintained. I can now start to see all of those pieces of information as well, and those work orders as a 360-degree view of the account. I can click on the files and start to see a list of files. Well, that's, you've uploaded those to the application. No, these are part of SharePoint. So this is where M365 starts to come into play as well. You can start to see if I actually opened up that particular path, I would see all of those documents sitting in SharePoint. This is just a view, and I can upload documents into here from D365 and be able to store them in SharePoint. And that's part of that native integration that is just within the Microsoft stack. I might have customer calls. I might be a real big sales organization that has a call cycle. I might want to start to call those customers and call in a regimented way. I can start to do that and have that document as well. From a financial perspective, as I said, we might integrate with an ERP and start to bring in some of that invoice information. So we might be able to bring in those invoices for the salespeople to have and to see, based on security, obviously, we would do that. And that may not be part of the database. We may be just showing you a view of the invoices. It might be some other type of information from your ERP. But that's just an example of bringing that information in from my ERP for this particular, from my finance system for this particular customer. So if we go back to the summary tab on this particular organization, they're all rich features that we've actually got, starting to see a 360-degree all-in-one view of that particular customer, which is, and there might be more for you, for your particular organization. There might be different tabs. There might be products tabs, etc. So you can start to build out your CRM for your particular organization. One of the great things in here is that we also have integrated natively Teams chat. So many organizations nowadays are working in Teams, and they collaborate with their team members around all sorts of different things, including their customers. And so this brings that all the way to the front for you. So no longer do I have to go out to Teams and start a chat with John about First Up Consulting. I can do it all from within the CRM. So I can open up that chat and I can start to have that chat as I go through. If I wanted to, I'll just flick out of here and I'll go into Teams itself. So as part of my Teams, in my channels, I can actually surface D365 very easily within the Teams record itself, which makes it so much more accessible. If you're working in Teams all day, every day, let's surface CRM in there as well. Makes sense, doesn't it? Let's go back to CRM. Let's go back to the sales component. Let's go back to that account record. Another component that's in there is around that Copilot. This is where we're starting to inject all of the rich Microsoft Copilot features in here. And we can start to see here that I can start to get information. I can ask questions around this particular organization. Now, this is not just for the account record. This is anywhere within the application, on the opportunities, on the work orders that we might be doing, on a support case. We can start to get that rich information. So I could start to say, well, I want to see how this organization is in the news. Copilot will go and grab that information and present that on the screen for me, whether it be a summary of anything as well. So we got that rich functionality that's in there as well. I hope that makes sense. I just want to drive this home just by saying there are great benefits to have a CRM like Dynamics 365. We've focused on that 360-degree view. So the first tile there is around that customer view and having that 360-degree view. Enhanced productivity, getting that automation going, getting those Copilot, getting customer insights, journeys involved, taking or building that automation out so that your salespeople, so that your support people, so that your marketing people aren't doing manual jobs all day, every day. Let the system do the work for you. Having that low-code platform, being able to configure the solution in a low-code way, no experience really necessary, is vital in today's CRM world, and that comes in spades in Dynamics 365. We've talked about superior communications, that automated communications, that the journeys that we can send things through, not just newsletters, but let's talk about that real-time marketing and get that involved in our organization. Integration capabilities is key with looking at any CRM. Obviously, Dynamics CRM is natively integrated with the rest of the Microsoft stack, with your M365, with Outlook, with SharePoint, all of those great rich Microsoft products, but it can very easily, using customer insights data and Power Platform, bring all of that information in and make that an all-in-one operational shop for your business. And then we've also got the Copilot components in there as well. Having that automated, having that AI-driven assistant in there to help your salespeople, to help your support people, really gives them, and we haven't really even talked about in customer insights from an AI perspective. You can start to then say, right, well, I want to build an email campaign that has this type of logo in it, or these types of pictures, this type of content. Microsoft Copilot will go in and will develop that for you and really build out that, so you don't need to actually even, for a lot of those sort of things nowadays, you don't even need to have a design knack within your business. It'll do it for you. So some great tools in there and great benefits to utilize a system like D365. Thanks, Adair. I'll hand over to you just to talk about if anybody would like to talk to anybody around D365 CRM.
Thank you, Nigel, around getting started. And look, thank you for the detail on that. Please note, I guess we, and Nigel in particular, has thrown a lot of use cases, a lot of scenarios to you. And obviously we can't cover all the industries and all the company situations that are on this webinar. The best we can hope for is allowing your imagination to think, oh, if we could have that in our organization, what would that look like? And that's the conversations we'd really like to have. Before I touch on getting started, I'd like to also just highlight, because I think it's important, that although we have spoken about, or Nigel's spoken about, a lot of configuration, a lot of flexibility to, yes, Nigel showed a lot of detail there, but if he mentioned that tabs can change, information can change, all the things that we can do with this platform is quite remarkable. But please note, it's not like the technology that underlines this is not like the old days when we do something unique. Back in the old days, we used to not be able to upgrade. We used to not be able to get the latest releases from Microsoft, to get the latest AI into our, or the better reporting. Please note, with today's technologies, we can make all these changes and it stays on that update path. So the latest technology that Microsoft puts in automatically comes into your version of Dynamics 365 CRM. So I think that's just important, that you always stay on that upgrade path. But look, as I said, hopefully there was something today, or lots of things today, that got you interested in going, okay, what does that mean for my business? And what's the next step? Look, obviously, the real next step is working with Nigel's team, the D365 Power Platform team. We want to get that engagement going. Typically, if you have an account manager, know your account manager, please reach out to them. They can make a meeting. A typical, I guess, process that we go through is we have one of Nigel's team members has a discovery meeting with you, understands your organization a little bit better, and then uses a lot of the tools that you saw today, a lot of the functionality that you saw today, to put together what that solution would look like for you based upon your roadmap. And typically, when we talk to our customers, it is a roadmap. There's a phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the way this application can be implemented, right? Where you can get those small wins, quick wins, and continue and keep exploring as Microsoft continues to put in the latest technologies. And obviously, demonstrations. Look, there was so much detail in the demonstration that Nigel gave there. That was fantastic. But again, think about that sort of detail with your data, with your scenarios that you need. We do that, and obviously go through pricing. So that's a typical process that our customers do to see what CRM can do in their organization. But we really are happy to be led by you. If you've got your own thoughts or ways that would be best for your organization, please do that. The last thing I just thought to mention just on Get Started is highlighting that Microsoft actually provides funding for us, for Nigel's team members, to come into your organization and can do quite extensive needs analysis, can create really very tailored demos that you might even call proof of concept level demonstrations. So depending on know what your requirements are. Microsoft does give the funding based upon the size of the opportunity to them from a licensing perspective, obviously. But even at a small level, we can access that funding. So we can do a fair bit with you without you needing to commit financially. Obviously, we need your time to do that. But it has been great the last couple of years where Microsoft has given us that funding to just engage deeper with our customers like yourselves before you actually go forward with the solution. As well as engaging through your account manager and through Nigel's team, it's probably pretty important to highlight that we have our Discover Dynamics 365 days in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane coming up, where Nigel and his team and a lot of the microchannel team members would be there, meet with them face to face, and even without going into anything formal out on your site that we're happy to do, just informally talk to the team and talk to Nigel and his team members there. But that would be great if there's any interest in what we've shown today. Please come to those, put them in your diary, but we will be sending invites to them in the next week. And lastly, thank you for your time. Obviously you saw the detail that Nigel put into that. We really hope you got great benefit out of that. It was good interest to you and your organization. Please feel free to connect with your account manager. There are our account managers there, or please reach out to me or Nigel for any questions that you might have. We will connect with you. You'll get an email out. We'll give you a quick call. Your account manager will give you a quick call shortly anyway, to see any feedback if we can follow up anything. But otherwise, thank you so much for your time. We really hope you got great benefit out of it, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.